Hello everybody, welcome to the What's On podcast. This is episode 9 and my name is Zachary.
My name is Matt.
Yep, we have someone new today, and today we're going to be talking about a bit of gaming. So we're going to be talking about FIFA, we're going to be talking about YouTubers, we're going to be talking about eSports, and just going back and forth on the subject. So as normal, we're just going to go into a bit of news from the past week and see if anything interesting is happening. So this week, the Bafta nominations came in, so like British Academy Film Awards, and I just want to focus on like the best films of the year because they seem pretty close, and there's a couple that seem interesting because it seems recent, because they were 1917, which you and Ryan want to watch really badly.
It does look very good.
Remind me what it's about again.
It's World War One. It's essentially they're going on a mission. The mission is tell this group they're going on an attack, but they're going straight into a trap. If they make it to them, they stop the mission. They stop them being slaughtered. Yeah. If they don't, they're in trouble. They're walking into a trap.
Yeah, because apparently it's meant, or at least most of it's been in one take or something like that. It's meant to be filmed.
I saw a video on it a while ago, and they were saying how they filmed it. It was all one continuous take, so every scene just kept on rolling. Yeah. So that's done. It's
pretty sweet, and I think it came out a couple of days ago here.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't been to see it yet, but it's something I want to go see.
Yeah. I know it's had a critic. I think it was released like last month because the Golden Globes, it won like 2 awards for it, and it was just like we only saw the trailer through when we went and saw like Rise of Skywalker, so it's pretty quick come out, but apparently it's decent. It's already winning awards, so that'll be interesting to see. Another one that's been nominated is The Irishman, which is one of Scorsese's, which has gone on Netflix.
Yeah, it's Netflix. Is it Netflix exclusive?
Yeah.
It looks interesting. I haven't seen it yet, but it's got, from what I've heard, it's got good reviews.
Yeah, it seems like classic Scorsese as well. Yeah. But the only I think me and Ryan spoke about it sometime when we were talking about gangster films, but it's 3.5 hours long, or 3 hours and a bit, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, films are starting to get some films are starting to get to that length, and it gets to that point where it's quite a commitment to go, oh, we'll watch this, but oh, hold on, it's 3 hours long. It's a bit. Is that?
Especially with Netflix, because like Netflix is the epitome of binge watching, like hour by hour, as opposed to a sit through. I think I read into, I don't know how factually accurate it is, because obviously only the filmmakers will know, but Rise of Skywalker was 2 hours 22, I think it was, but apparently there was 40 minutes or so that was cut out of it. So I think that's why it felt a bit like compacted.
It shocked me they haven't released an uncut edition.
Oh yeah, like what was the other one? Is it Justice League that everyone was calling for the Snyder cut of it? It was something like that. Yeah, anyway, the other one was, which I'm very not surprised about, was Joker.
Yeah.
Not surprised about that at all.
No, completely. It was a good film.
Me and Ryan had a whole thing about it, but what did you think about it? Like, you enjoy it as well?
Yeah, I enjoyed the Joker. However, the thing that annoys me the most about it is the making a sequel.
Yeah, not a fan of that, really.
No, I think that it ended perfectly. However, why they're making a sequel blows my mind, but that is what it is.
Yeah, it is by popularity into that. It's like it's become so big that it's like, oh, it's got to have a sequel. But the film by itself just did such an amazing job. It should have just stood by itself.
It should.
Another one is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is Tarantino's recent film with DiCaprio and Damon. I've not seen it myself, and I don't know a huge amount about it. No. It's Tarantino. It's had good reviews. I imagine it's good.
It's got big names.
Yeah, so I imagine it's decent, but I've not actually had a chance to check it out myself. And the final one is a foreign film called Parasite, which I've heard a lot of good things about, and I'm actually really glad that a foreign film's made into the best films, because I would have thought they're ones they cut out first.
Yeah, it's not something you ever think about, really, foreign films.
Because they have their own category, don't they?
Yeah,
so you think
they do. See, people just don't class them like, for example, Bollywood.
So I'm glad. I've heard very good things about it. It's just I'm surprised and happy that it's actually made it into such a big, but the top category.
It's a change.
I think it won an award at somewhere, and the director or the writer said something like, I'm glad that people can get past the 1-inch subtitle limit that stops people watching them, which is true, isn't it?
Yeah, subtitled films is something people go, oh, it's a subtitled film, puts you off straight away.
Yeah.
However, I remember watching is it Downfall?
Yeah.
Downfall. I remember watching that, and I didn't have a problem with that because I like that material. Quite into the whole World War II films.
Yeah. Downfall being the last days of Hitler's, and it's all in German.
It was all in German in Hitler's bunker.
Most people will perhaps know it from the infamous Hitler meme where people have changed the subtitles when he's in the bunker.
Yeah.
That's probably where most people know it. I've been meaning to watch that for a while, actually, but never got around to it.
It's a good film, but it's one of those films where you kind of have to be interested in the area to watch it.
One thing I was wondering to do with is opinion on critics versus popular opinion, because this is due with 1917. It's been out 2 days and it's already winning awards, but the public has not seen it. So, because there's a lot of, I think over this last year, there's been a lot to do with critic opinion and audience opinion, where people have got, where critics, where a film or TV show has apparently been rubbish, but that's because it's critics judging it and audience opinion's been through the roof.
Yeah. I go off judging films by what I hear from people. Personally, in my opinion, from people I know, people who I know have seen the film or series or whatever, I don't automatically go, oh, what have the critics said? Oh,
what's Rotten Tomatoes or what's IMDb or...
Yeah, I tend to just avoid, well, not avoid, but not bother with what they say.
Yeah.
Because it sometimes can be inaccurate.
Yeah. Bit of gaming, the PS5 logo has been announced, which is basically the same logo as it's ever been, just with a number changed.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
Not a shock.
But Sony apparently has confirmed that the PS5 will be released at the end of this year, which again I'm not surprised about because Xbox has already been announced to the Xbox Series X, which the whole thing's been shown at the Game Awards a few weeks ago, so not surprised.
Quite unexpectedly as well.
Yeah, I thought it would be their own event that they would announce their own console at.
It was a bit of a shock. I was like, oh, they've announced a new Xbox and not made their own event and made a massive, huge deal out of their own, it being their own thing.
Yeah, but PS5, it's going to come out at the end of this year. They've not released much spec, but it's just people who've got a PlayStation, they're going to buy the next one anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, you tend to think that. Personally, I always stuck with PlayStation. However, my PlayStation 4 was worse for wear, and at that point in time, I went out and bought an Xbox One S because it was the best console for the money I had at that point in time. I didn't want to spend that other extra £150 getting a PS4 Pro.
But then saying if the two of them came out in December, they're both the same price, which would you go towards?
I don't know, to be honest. It's a tough question because I've always sided with PlayStation. But the last PlayStation 4, granted I bought it in the same month it was released.
Yeah.
It hasn't, well, I suppose you could say it has lasted because how long is a PlayStation supposed to last? Its lifetime.
I mean, it's done a long time. I think PS4's been around for a good 5 or 6 years now, hasn't it? Maybe longer.
Yeah.
So.
But it's not. It still works. It works fine. It just sounds like you said before, a plane's taking off and it's pretty unbearable.
But do remember, PS5's gonna not sound like that when you buy it new.
Oh, but yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm honestly am more interested in which titles are exclusive or not exclusive to their respective game consoles. I found the PlayStation exclusives to be more interesting than the Xbox, none of which I've even seen that interested me at all. So that's what interests me more than computing power or memory or anything like that.
I probably will end up siding with the PlayStation, but you never know.
Yeah. Another one coming through is that The Matrix 4 has started to get in. First of all, did you know that Matrix 4 is coming out?
I did not.
So Matrix 4 is coming out next. You don't look impressed. It's coming out next May or April. But something hilarious that you probably didn't know is that Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 are coming out on the same day.
Oh, what?
It's literally Keanu versus Keanu. But that started getting some casting details. They'd already announced that, like, obviously Keanu is coming back. I can't remember the actress's name who plays Trinity. She's coming back. But apparently they're casting a young Morpheus, so I don't really know. They've not released any story details, so I don't know. But they've also cast Neil Patrick Harris, who from How You Met Your Mother, or A Series of Unfortunate Events, if you've seen the Netflix series. I imagine he probably is a villain, to be honest, because I watched A Series of Unfortunate Events because I read the books, and he did a good job of that, so I could see him as being some sort of, I don't know if they'll stick with the agents stuff, but I could see him doing that.
Maybe, because, you know, he did love his suits in How I Met Your Mother.
Frozen 2 has become the highest grossing animated film at all time. Not really surprised, to be honest.
No, not surprised.
Lucifer, the TV series, I know that's been quite popular because of being brought onto Netflix. The last season's coming out this year, and apparently they've cast a man named Dennis Haysbert. I don't know the actor personally. He's been in a show called 24, a show I know, but I've never seen, as God. So God's appearing in the show.
Interesting.
So I think he's been mentioned throughout the 4 seasons, but I never really thought they would actually bring him on. I thought it was a possibility, but I think that'll be interesting. I think it's because it's the last season, so they thought, why not go big?
Finish it with a bang.
The Witcher 3, so the Witcher Netflix series, we've talked about that quite a bit over these last few episodes, but that's obviously still on Netflix, still building hype of people watching it, but it's also built hype for the games, and on Steam it reached 100,000 concurrent players on The Witcher 3, which I thought was very impressive. I'm really glad because it's my favourite game, so glad it got some attention towards it. And then final point was the Golden Globes. We mentioned it earlier, but there was a speech made by Ricky Gervais, a UK comedian, who basically lambasted Hollywood to pieces.
See the look on some of the actors' faces when he was making the speech.
He says it rips apart so many parts of the industry, but like a main one was he started out with not using the platform as a means to stage a political speech or share views on culture or politics or anything like that, which I agree with. Like, you don't need to take that. You don't need to take that opportunity to like put your you can share your views on your own personal social media, but I think it's a space to enjoy works people have done and not a space to
social media. Fine, because that's your
personal opinion, personal space.
But on that kind of platform, I would say no, because it's nothing to do with that. That's not the time and place. It's
just awarding for people's work, both the actors as well as the entire film studio, because obviously in a film, in a TV series, it's not just an actor or actress, it's an entire company who's put together great designers, great directors, great writers, and then the actors are like the final piece to it. So I think they should just focus on the people in that and not use it as a platform for that sort of stuff.
Not the time for politics.
Yeah. So that's everything I saw in this week's news. So we're going to go on to a bit of gaming. So you play tons of FIFA, I know that. So I thought an interesting one would be to talk about that, as well as going into specific interesting topics to do with that, such as microtransactions to do with paying to win, basically, and eSports and YouTubers who have found success from this game. Because even though FIFA by itself, people may just think it's just a football game, which it is, but the far-reaching effects it's had over these last 5 years, even longer.
A massive springboard for some people.
Yeah, so people who, I don't suppose there'll be anyone who doesn't know, but FIFA's a console game. I think it's also on PC.
Yeah, it's on PC. It's on the Switch as well, I believe, now.
Probably.
I believe it is.
And it's just, you play football or soccer. Like, you play you just play as teams, play against each other. Everyone knows what it is.
FIFA's FIFA. People know what FIFA is.
So, I wanted to start off with, why is FIFA the big name? Why is it not this PES, which people may not be as familiar with?
Well, FIFA and PES is a long-standing thing. Pro
Evolution Soccer, that's PES.
Yeah, it's made. I think it's made by Konami. Is it Konami? It's made by
so.
PES. PES has this nasty cycle each year where it gets released. The PES demo always comes out first, then the FIFA demo always comes out, then PES comes out, the full game, then FIFA comes out. And at the start, people always go, "Oh, PES looks great this year. The graphics look amazing. Oh, it looks great this year. It could rival FIFA this year." It gets a lot of hype at the start, and then every single year, after about a month, that's it. People have forgotten about it, and FIFA comes out, and that's it. No one touches it again. And it happens every single year.
How come people go more towards FIFA than PES then?
Personally, I go for FIFA over PES because licensing is a massive issue.
Which means?
Basically, they have the rights to use the team names or the correct team names. Some stadiums, some official leagues. When I say leagues, I mean the graphics for the leagues, the correct name for the leagues, the sponsorship deals.
So they can actually use like Premier League or Bundesliga or something like that.
Which actually does become a problem in some YouTube videos because some YouTubers I watch tend to get copyright strikes when by the official leagues when they put those in the videos.
Or the thumbnails,
So they have to edit them out because they get copyright strikes from it, which is ridiculous. But anyway, back onto the subject.
You've told me a couple of interesting licenses. One where FIFA's had the players and the stadium, but not the team name, or the reverse, where they've had to change the entire.
Yeah,
they've got the team, but they have to change all the team players' names.
This year, PES have got the exclusive rights to use Juventus. When I say exclusive rights, they've got exclusive rights to the name and the badge and the stadium and the kits.
Yep.
FIFA are still able to use the players because they already have their face scans in the game.
Yep.
And their names in the game. They don't have to take them away. But however, this year FIFA have had to make a new name for Juventus. I think they call it Piemonte Calcio or something like that. They had to change the badge. They made a new badge up and just made it similar to one of the old Juventus badges. They also had to make new kits up.
Yep.
Also, in last year's FIFA 19, Juventus' stadium was in the game.
Yep.
And they've had to remove that from the game now. So they can't use that anymore. They have to use one of the generic stadiums that's already in FIFA, which is a bit of an annoyance.
Yeah.
But people, again, it's one major team that hasn't got its name and badge and kits in it.
Yeah.
Whilst PES has loads of major teams that don't have the names, badges and kits in. So people just don't want to play that. Like I don't want to play that. I don't want to play.
So it's more to do with being able to see your team or being able to see more variety of real life teams than just generic stuff. Because I know you've shown me a couple of times that the graphics in PES seem to be superior to FIFA. Yeah. I don't know about the gameplay mechanics, but
there is a case for that. The PES graphics are probably in some cases better. Game mechanics wise, I'm not too sure. But that's just because I could just be so used to playing FIFA. I just don't like the PES mechanics. There are people out there who do prefer PES, but it's not like
you'd say they're the minority.
They're the vast minority.
So FIFA's been going on for donkey's years, 10 plus years. Like, what's changed? Like, obviously the graphics, you could say, but
the graphics, in terms of progression, there's many things. A couple of years ago, they introduced women into FIFA.
Oh yeah, the women teams.
Yeah,
the women league.
However, they only introduced the international team, which I thought was a bit half.
I imagine it was just like an easy introduction, and over the next few years, potentially like the actual leagues. Or
my issue with it is they've introduced the countries. That's all well and good. It's a good progression.
Yeah.
But they've not started. That was about three games ago, and ever since then they've not started to introduce the actual women's teams, which I find today's day and age quite bad, really, for the rise of women's football. Cause they just had the women's World Cup, which was hugely popular compared to the last tournament. The viewing figures were quite high.
Yep.
I don't know because I feel like there is quite a lot of more call for it. They started off well, but they could do with introducing the actual club teams now.
Yeah.
They also a few years ago introduced something called the Journey into FIFA, which is another mode where you start off as this Alex Hunter and you go through. It's basically like player career mode but fixed.
Because the traditional like play styles is you just do a quick match, which is just you and your mates or you and the computer. Ultimate Team is where you like build your own team and go through leagues, and career mode where you basically act as a manager or a player and go through a simulated version of a person's career into it.
Yeah, the introduction of Ultimate Team has been absolutely massive for the game.
Was it once upon a time not a thing?
It's slowly become more and more popular at the point today where Ultimate Team is by far the biggest game mode in FIFA. It's hugely popular, even with professional footballers. You see them playing Ultimate Team. You see them posting their teams on social media and stuff.
Yeah.
Personally, it's not for me. I can't stand it. I hate it. In fact, I hate how arcadey it is compared to career mode. I hate how people obsessed with it, and I hate how it gets people obsessed with it. For example, all people care about is, what's the team of the year this year? Because it just got released. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Yeah. Which is another subject in itself. We'll get to microtransactions. Yeah. We'll get to that. I don't know. Ultimate Team's caused a lot of debate, shall we say, in the FIFA community.
I would say that you're probably in the minority in this regard, in terms of probably the majority of people find Ultimate Team the main thing of their game.
I would say definitely.
And definitely gets more of the focus by FIFA itself because of the monetary value of Ultimate Team and the focus on that. But before we go onto that, I just wanted to go into a couple of points of people are buying the same game year after year, basically, aren't they?
Yeah.
There is slight variations, such as slight gameplay mechanics, possibly, or flags getting attached to the ground.
Yeah, as a FIFA player, you get asked the question a lot: why do you buy it year after year? It's the same game. The answer to the question is essentially it's not the same. If you play the game yourself and you played it for years like myself, you know that the game is actually different. To me, there is a difference. The thing that drags people in is to buying it year after year. You get the latest squads, you play the transfers, new kits, new stadiums.
One of the biggest reasons I saw was being part of the online community, because if you stay with an older version, everyone's moved on to the new online. So everyone's playing 2020 now, and if you're still in 2019, there's obviously people still playing that, but it's not the new thing. It's not where people are as much anymore.
Eventually, after a couple of years, they do shut the servers down for it as well. Because the majority of people buy FIFA to play Ultimate Team. Like when you go to a shop and if you went to go buy FIFA, they try and sell you FIFA points. The shop will try to sell you FIFA points.
It's just another point of where they can get. It's like the same with when you buy a game, they try to get you to get insurance. I know it's not exactly the same thing because one's an extra revenue source for a corporation and one's basically insurance. So they're definitely different, but it's just another way for them to generate income into it.
Yeah.
Just one's got worse, has a negative perception for good reason because of how worthless it is, basically.
Yeah.
What do you think of the fact that there's no? Because I think with FIFA, it's a game. It's obviously a game, but it's not a story. It's like an arcade game, isn't it? You can play it and play it and play it and play it, and there's no point of completion. It's just continuous improvement or try again with a different version, like Mortal Kombat. It's just trying again, but with a different character. It's doing a different team, but. There's no point of...
No, in a way there's not. I suppose you're right, there isn't. Technically, in career mode, there is. Because you get to... I can't remember how many years it is. I think it's 30 seasons. if you play for, I've never done it myself, but if you play 30 seasons into career mode, that's it. It kicks you off. You retire as a manager, so to say.
But then you would start again with the new player potentially.
Yeah, and that's it. You just start again.
Yeah.
So you get to a certain point, you get to a certain year, and that's it. You can't go any further in that time. You have to start a new save. Which leads me to another point. The amount of different saves you can have is kind of annoying.
Or takes up your memory space on your PS4 or console.
It's not that. Last year, they've actually sorted it out this year. But last year in FIFA... Okay, so in FIFA 18, you could have 10. You could have 10 different career mode saves. But in FIFA 19, they downgraded that to 4.
Does that mean you can only have four players that you're trying to take forward into your game? Or
no, by that I mean you can only have 4 different career modes. Say you had one with, I don't know, United, one with City, one with Liverpool, one with Chelsea. That's it. You can't have any more. Which I think is pretty pathetic. When the year before you could have 10. Why would they take those 6 slots away?
I mean, potentially take away to focus on other stuff, but probably Ultimate Team. But
yeah, but then this year they've upped it back up to 8, I think it is. So again, why not just put it back up to 10? What's happening there?
It's probably just a game that we can't know unless actually reading into and speaking to someone.
It just seems mad. They're making all these improvements to Ultimate Team, but yet they can't get the fundamental basics right of career mode. In fact, they're going backwards. What's that about? Granted, I know it's not the most popular game mode, but there's no need to neglect it and make it worse.
That is the point, though, isn't it? It's not. I think a good point to get onto monetary incentives to do with Ultimate Team has coins and it has FIFA points in which you purchase players, you purchase attribute cards, I think they are. You are able to spend real money and acquire things within the game. Career mode, on the other hand, is just a personal playing experience.
Yeah.
And I think that is the reason why there is, if you because obviously you play it a lot, you see neglecting in it compared to what it's done previously. But it's probably because the focus is more on Ultimate Team because it's a good business decision. It's focusing on where the money is.
It is, but at the same time, I completely understand why they do it, and I completely get it. But it gets to that point where you're just going to lose that career mode community altogether, and then that will eventually cause a loss of revenue because people will just stop buying it.
But then it's like the minor populace into it, as opposed to the majority of people who are Ultimate Team. I'm not saying you're wrong if they totally shut it down, but it's then, would people still buy it just as a game to put on with the mates or something like that? Because how many, go on.
I wouldn't. If they got rid of it, I would safely say I would stop buying it. Because I never play FIFA the only time I ever play FIFA when I play career mode or playing with friends round. I never do anything else on it. I don't touch Ultimate Team. If you went up and loaded my Ultimate Team up now online, you still get your starter pack that you get every year when you first get the game. I haven't even set it up.
And this is a side point that's quite interesting, is the lack of local multiplayer games nowadays. There is a severe lack of them.
Split screen.
That's what I mean. Like just you and a friend, sat in the same room playing.
Interesting, you should say that. Fortnite, yes, I know everyone hates. Fortnite.
No, people enjoy Fortnite. People don't enjoy.
Fortnite's a bit of a touchy subject, but they've just introduced split screen, I believe. I don't know if it's local split screen, but they just introduced split screen. I haven't read into it.
It'd have to be local, wouldn't it?
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's like a co-op kind of thing.
Oh, you mean? I don't know actually. That'd be good though. If it's what people want, isn't it? Because I mean, we've had a running joke for 9 years about F1.
The F1 game.
Because we used to play in college or
it was
high school or something like that, where the Formula 1 2011, I think, was the last local multiplayer Formula 1 game.
Yeah.
And then afterwards they got rid of it and they've not had it since, and it seems it's a perfect game. Any sort of racing game is perfect for a local multiplayer, so it seems a very odd choice, and there is a severe lack of it nowadays. FIFA being the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
It's a very strange one. Again, like I suppose, like you say, there's not
monetary advantage. Like they have to put more programming in to do some sort of split screen, and they might as well just do that to online where it's probably more beneficial. But it's a shame.
I would say it is, because off the top of my head, I can't think of any, except for FIFA, any 2-player games I own.
Yeah. The only ones I can think of is like games made for that purpose, like Mario Party or Kart or like Nintendo stuff, where the purpose and the Switch is really good for that one. To be honest, I've not got one myself, but I know it obviously has the 2 controllers with the Switch itself, so it's made for that purpose. But it's a shame that like PS4, like Xbox, there's nothing mainstream or nothing that comes to mind immediately.
I'm trying to think.
Because even driving games, like someone know he's got like Drive Club and Gran Turismo and such like, and I think Gran Turismo I think's local. I don't think Drive Club is.
I'm not sure if it is anymore.
I think there's a couple of years old versions of the most recent one might not do, but it's a shame the lack of it. So going back onto the money stuff like FIFA points, so microtransactions. So this has been microtransactions, for people who don't know, is within a game is where you can spend real money. So whether that's obviously wherever you are in dollars, in pounds, in whatever, you transfer or convert your bank account money into in-game currency. So in FIFA, it would be points or coins. In any other game, you've probably seen like mobile games or seen the news where a child got hold of the parent's credit card and suddenly they got a £1,000 bill for some Fortnite equipment.
Yeah, it's like V-Bucks in Fortnite.
So that's it. I think V-Bucks. So that's what microtransactions are, and they're a really negative part of the industry at the moment, and they have been for quite a while. And I think it's
touching. I can't remember if it's in some states of America they're talking about legal action over them.
Yeah, this is what I wanted.
How true that is.
This is what I wanted to start up with, was because there is legal action coming off it, and that has started from Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, that game has got such a negative opinions surrounding it because of how much it is a pay-to-win game.
Yeah, so
pay to play.
I think it's changed a lot now after the massive backlash, but when it first came out, huge amount of pay-to-win kind of thing, as it's known as like microtransactions. You pay for materials so you can have a better time of it or have better equipment. And Battlefront 2, the Star Wars game, took it to the next level. Basically, you can pay for everything, I think. I think you've played it, have you?
Not Battlefront. No, I haven't. But that was one of the reasons I was going to. But then I heard such a negative opinion of it, and I was like, no, I'm going to stay away from it because I don't want to buy it again and then have to spend more money to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. So when Battlefront 2 came out, this massive microtransaction came thing, and that's where all the legal action started. That's where a legal case was presented to the US government saying this is a danger to parents and kids, I think. I don't know the ins and outs of the story, but that's where the legal action has started. But the problem with it now is, even though this has been a thing for a while, Battlefront 2 was like the straw that broke the camel's back, basically. But it has paved the way for many games now to just do the same thing. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, but the Avengers game that's coming out this year, that's already getting negative press because they've already said there'll be microtransactions in it.
Yeah. So
it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things that's, I think, here to stay, unfortunately.
It would seem that way. One of the main reasons I stay away from Ultimate Team. When you start, you start off.
It's a grind.
Yeah, it's a grind, and no one does that. Everyone just. You tend to find people to get loads of points, and then they just buy packs, and they eventually sell the good players, and then buy the one.
I mean, this currency is getting in-game. They're for the purpose of, like, in FIFA, speeding things up. I've not played Fortnite much myself, but
Fortnite's cosmetics. I don't think Fortnite actually does...
equipment.
No, I don't think Fortnite does performance.
It's just as a means for aesthetic reasons then,
it's
or...
purely cosmetic on Fortnite. Personally, I don't mind cosmetics to some degree.
Yeah.
It's when it actually affects your progression in a game where that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, when it's giving you an advantage, because that's where the pay-to-win thing comes in, saying where you are paying for better equipment than people who are unable to or would otherwise not want to spend money on a game when they've already spent 60 quid on it to purchase the game in the first place.
Yeah. Cosmetic-wise, I don't mind if someone wants to pay an extra, I don't know, £10, £20 or dollars, whatever, to buy a certain skin for a game, then whatever, then that's their prerogative. As long as it doesn't affect their performance, then fine.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between these microtransactions, which is for the purpose of just it's easy spending, and expansions or DLCs, which are actually extra game content. They're stories, they're extra content that they are giving players, obviously in exchange for paying for it. But it's a different thing. They're getting something from the money, not just a way to speed up. It's actual extra content, extra story, extra potential equipment. I played Horizon Zero Dawn, and that has an expansion, and that has different enemies, it has different equipment, it has a whole new area. That's something, if it's of interest to you, that's potentially worthy of spending. But something like an extra equipment gun or something like that, it's just a bad thing that I don't really like.
Yeah, no, me neither. I would disagree with that, with pay to win.
Yeah, and I do think it's here to stay. I think it's a massive, because FIFA, how much is FIFA 20 now? Or how much is it when it's new? Like FIFA 21
when it's new, it's like £50-55.
So that's 50-55 plus points, which must outstrip potentially, especially with the popularity of. Well, we're going on to that now with YouTubers promoting it. I don't know if it's as popular now. I don't think it is, because I think a lot of them have grown up now and diverted. You probably know more than I.
There is, for example, I watch a YouTuber called Channy Sports, and he is a career mode YouTuber, and I enjoy his content. But he does have a second channel which he uses to play Ultimate Team, and I watched one of his streams over the festive period where he was playing Ultimate Team, and the amount of money he spent on packs was I think it was something like £1,000 or €1,000 I think worth. But to him, that he said that was for business purposes, because YouTube is his job. Which if that's a sound investment for his business, then that's completely his choice. And if it works for him business wise, and it makes good monetary sense, then but
I think because we're going to come on to the success that's come from YouTubers because of this game, but it's also people not YouTubers who don't produce video, who are not content creators. They see them as celebrities, don't they? They want to emulate them. They want to have as good a team as them. They want to purchase packs, going, this is what so and so is doing on YouTube. So, and they get sponsors, get 20% off your FIFA points for this X, Y, and Z. So I think I'm sure there has been many occasions, I imagine, of kids purchasing because of YouTubers. Do you want to go with that, or?
Yeah, I would say younger, more impressionable do tend to go, the YouTuber I watch is buying packs, I need to go get some. And you tend to find that, for example, I went into a shop the other day, and I was looking at buying a game for myself, and there was a kid in front of me in the queue with his dad buying FIFA, and I heard the guy at the counter going, "Oh, are you buying any FIFA points for that?" And the turn around and heard the child go, "Oh, go on, Dad. Go on, Dad. Everyone else buys them. All these people buy it. All my mates have got them. All mates." And it'll help me play Ultimate Team. And
good old peer pressure.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a continuous effect, really. 'Cause as soon as someone does it, for a younger, more impressionable mind, they tend to think that means I've got to do it as well.
Yeah.
I need this. I need to be good at this. And in order to be good at Ultimate Team, I need to buy packs, which means spending money.
Yeah.
Which is it's a bit of a vicious circle. Especially when promotions come around, Like Team of the Year, which came out recently. FIFA love bring out these things called lightning rounds, and in these lightning rounds, it's basically more chance of getting better players in packs.
Right, so encouraging people to buy more packs in this limited window, I guess.
Yeah, it's actively encouraging people saying you will get more chance of getting these rare players.
I mean,
more packs.
I mean, it's been a while since I've done any sort of Ultimate Team, probably half a decade now, but what I remember is like it's basically a lotto, isn't it, when you do these pack things, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's you buy a pack and you get certain players and one of them's going to be decent or potentially one might be really good.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And even if you buy some of the special ones that you can buy, there's no guarantee you'll get like a rare or an inform.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing they do. They have this thing called informs. It's essentially a team of the week, and whoever's performed well in real life gets one of these special cards every week, which is rarer, so to speak.
Yeah.
People go, say if you plays for your team, you think, I
want
that
it.
card, so I'm gonna go out and buy packs.
Yeah.
To try and get that card.
Money going down.
Yeah, it essentially means more money. It's just a good revenue stream for them, I suppose.
Yeah. So we've just come off like native aspects of like microtransactions and all that, but there has been some huge positive effects that have come from stuff like this, such as we've talked about YouTubers who have done really well out of it. A most notable group is a group called the Sidemen, which is a group of YouTubers who predominantly started from FIFA, making Ultimate Team videos, making real life football videos, and they've managed to make a massive business out of it and massive success, which I think is very impressive.
I was going to say, even KSI himself used to. I remember when I was younger, I used to watch his videos. He had a series called Road to Division 1, which was Ultimate Team.
Because when I say predominantly, it's like that's where at least a basis was built, wasn't it?
It's where it was essentially a springboard for them for where they started off.
And this was done obviously through years of grind and video production.
The success that they've got now,
it's all through work.
It is all work. It wasn't just instant.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you, if you want to find success on YouTube, you are going to have to grind for it.
Yeah.
There isn't just that instant success.
And it's been really interesting seeing the after effects of where they've gone. Like KSI, we say he's just come off doing these 2 boxing fights, and this is like completely separate from where he started, isn't it? And this, I think, the internet side, that's like the world we live in now. Like we know, like the internet, we know like these YouTubers are people who do this work and sort of thing. And I think that's getting informed to the masses now. Like
it's a new form. I know this might be taking it a bit too far, or it might not. But it's like a whole new form of celebrities.
So definitely.
You say I don't know. Let's say.
Well, they've got their own name, haven't they? They're influencers.
Yeah, you say. I don't know. Let's say I'm trying to think of a big one. You see KSI walking down the street. If there was people like I don't know, a group of like. Let's say like 15 to 20-year-olds, or probably even younger than that. All of them, I could probably guarantee at least 90% of them would know who he is.
Yeah.
However, if you walk past a group of
30, late 30s probably.
It's like 40, 50-year-olds, they would not know.
Yeah.
And to those younger people, he is a celebrity.
Yeah.
But to those older people, he's probably just some unknown regular guy. But
that's what I don't like. It is the older generation that has the negative perception of people who, quotations, play games on the internet and somehow has successful, and they don't see, like me just doing this podcast, there's a lot of work going into like editing, into publicising, into publishing, trying to make sure it's content, like it's going out every week and stuff where they've been doing like a video a day for 4 years in a row.
It's just not seen as the norm to them, is it? I suppose.
And there's a huge amount of work that they've done, but it's not seen by the old generation, and I think it's getting more known about now because of these big events.
More and more accepted. Like I can't remember who it was. One of these influencers, if that's the title we want to use, or YouTubers, was on Strictly Come Dancing in real life.
Oh, Joe Sugg.
Yeah, and I remember my mum going, "Who's that? I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him." And I was like, "Oh, I know him. He's massive. He's quite big. He's relatively large on the YouTube scene."
Yeah.
And he is, in all fairness. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a massive fan, but
there's hundreds and thousands of popular people for different areas, isn't it? Because I know he does vlogging or something like that, or comedy sketches, I think.
Yeah. And you just goes to show it is reaching.
Yeah.
It is reaching out because people to go.
I mean, these are the public ones as well, because there'll be also many people like bloggers who will get sponsored, like a film reviewer who will get sponsored to go to a red carpet event because the company wants that blogger's audience to hear about the movie. So this is all like big scale stuff, but there's also stuff on the side where people, like companies, are getting interested in this influencer market because there's a lot of attention there.
Yeah, it's because people are realising it's becoming such a big market.
Because celebrity, I don't know if you have a different opinion, but celebrities people have an opinion of celebrities that they're like a bit out of reach, and I feel like people who they've seen grow from 100 subscribers to 1,000, or on Twitter or on Instagram, they seem to know these people, and they're like, "Oh, I know KSI because I saw him when he was doing these screaming videos in his bedroom with his brother."
Yeah, I want to use the word relatable. They do seem a bit more relatable than, I don't know, than your traditional actors or major I say major celebrities, like more traditional. I'll use the word traditional celebrities.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I would say they do seem a bit more like you can relate to them.
I mean, this industry as a whole, like, it's producing so many opportunities for people outside the norm now. Like, just sticking with gaming, like, there's obviously YouTubers who like very successful, like people like PewDiePie. I know he doesn't do as much gaming now, but obviously he's the biggest single channel. I know, like, an Indian company called T-Series is the biggest now, but there's tons of gaming YouTubers. Then there's streamers like Twitch. YouTube does it itself now. I know Ninja, massive.
That's another topic as well. The rise of Mixer.
I've not read too much into it. The only thing I've seen is Shroud, who's another streamer, and Ninja went to Mixer.
Yeah, I only watch two streamers. I don't really watch streams except for the two people I like who originally started off as YouTube videos. They both now stream exclusively on Mixer, which is just pure coincidence, but I quite like the platform. I prefer it to Twitch personally.
What's the difference?
There isn't much really. I just like...
Because I know Twitch has the vast majority of stream viewers audience, if that's the right way to say it. People who watch streams, the vast majority of them watch Twitch as opposed to Mixer.
Twitch is still single-handedly the biggest. However, I don't particularly agree with how it deals with some... It's a bit touchy subject, so I don't particularly agree how it's dealt with some incidents, shall we say, on...
You're talking about the one with the cat?
Yes.
That was mind-reading stuff right there.
I don't agree how it deals with that.
So... yeah, it's just us chatting. So it's the fact that there's been occasions in the past of biasness. Like, a predominant thing that came out at the end of last year was an incident with a female streamer and mistreating a cat, like throwing her cat and spitting vodka into the cat's mouth, and nothing happened really, as opposed to examples of male streamers was brought up where they did lesser instances but got suspended or banned. So there's been previous instances where Twitch has been come under
scrutiny,
because of their appeal to be equality, but then being a bit biased to not annoy certain people, certain social groups. Yeah, so that's most I know. I've not read a huge amount into it. I've seen it when it comes up into the Twitter, but
personally, I just like the way Mixer works. I like the feel of it.
Yeah. So streaming, I think it's not a new thing because it's been around for almost a decade now, but I think it's become like mass populous in the last 4 or 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
But that's become a new. That's
an even newer thing now, isn't it? Than YouTuber, so to speak.
And I've not tried it myself. I do want to try it at some point, but I think it's also more accessible than YouTube because it seems more direct with audiences.
Yeah. It depends on the size of the stream, really. I suppose.
Everyone starts off zero, though, don't they?
I suppose if you had like one of the ones I watch, if he's a career mode YouTuber, that's predominantly that's what he does. But when he streams, if his audience is at that level where quite a lot of time does respond to messages you put in his chat.
Yeah.
But then when you go into his YouTube videos, if you left a comment, he might read it, he might not.
Yeah.
But that's just the size of YouTube video audiences compared to streaming.
And YouTube, you got to deal with the algorithm as well, where certain things, if you blow certain side, there's a lot of things to be said about that. But again, another interesting format that people can do what they love now, isn't it? People who enjoy gaming to the everyone I think enjoys some form of gaming, but people who enjoy it to the fact it's their passion and want to do something that they can put out and also earn a sort of living off it. I think
it's nice that it's out there, that you can pretty much play anything or stream anything, obviously.
That people are interested in because it's still supply and demand, isn't it? And another one that we'll finish off with is eSports, which is an even newer thing than Twitch. Although eSports we're talking about where competitive play for monetary prizes, because obviously there's been competitive play for ages, like since like Super Smash is like the original like Nintendo Smash Bros. That was tournaments for days, but now it's become popular to do massive tournaments, massive prize funds, and
especially the Fortnite ones that spring. Well, that's what springs to mind to me. In terms of FIFA's the kind of the new kid on the block, I would say, so to speak, in terms of esports.
Yeah,
it's not been around for that long.
No.
But it is still quite a large. It is still quite a large thing.
I mean, I was looking at the earnings potential, and it's 25th in the ranks, or in 2018 at least.
Yeah. In 2018, the FIFA World Cup winner won $250,000, which is a lot of
still
money.
Fair.
Which is a lot of money for.
Yeah.
But
for most people, anyway.
Yeah. For FIFA, it's a lot of money.
But there is a lot of money and a lot of money getting poured into the industry of esports.
There is.
The most common things about esports at the moment is MMOs, which is like Dota, World of Warcraft, and then there's shooters. I've wrote shooters. So that's like CS:GO, and then a couple of others. Overwatch. That's another one. Fortnite.
Is quite a big thing.
Yep, Overwatch, Fortnite, and then fighting games as well. I think so. I think Dragon Ball games up there. There's Mortal Kombat. There's something else, but these are all getting more and more money put in to like for these tournaments. People are able to show their skill and be able to get paid for it. Obviously, it's a new industry, and I feel this with it getting more popular. It's because this is accessible by anyone. Like this, someone's got a game that you think, okay, Overwatch, I'm pretty good at that. I'm going to practice like hell for it, and I think everyone can think that they can put hours into it and they'll become good enough.
Yeah.
But it is accessible to everyone, so I think this is going to be it's going to be the most competitive industry to become a competitive player into.
It's a huge achievement to get if you get picked up by a team. Like in terms of Joe Ninja, he used to play Halo tournaments.
FaZe?
No, I think he played for Team Liquid. He used to play for. He doesn't anymore.
He's doing his own thing.
He's doing his own thing now. Again, just goes to show you what you can do from.
Well, he did really well because he was doing it a lot longer than people realise. Because he was doing it.
Halo play for years.
Because he was doing streaming and doing like competitive play for about 6 to 7 years, and then it was Fortnite that then booted him off into like the stratosphere. Because I think he gained like 10 million in a year or something like that, or like 3 million in a month.
Something like that. Then You get Shroud, who plays. I don't know.
I think Shroud does quite a bit. I think
he plays PUBG mainly.
Yeah, but I think he's done a few. But all of them do it. All of them mix it up.
Yeah, but like I mean, if you get picked up by a team, that's it. You're doing well for yourself.
So I've also seen negative aspects because it's the same as any sport that you have to put the hours in.
Yeah.
And with gaming, there's nothing stopping you really, like football, any sort of sport. There's your leg twists, you're knackered, your muscles are done.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're using your hands, but I mean, what are they going to do? Wear out? Like
arthritis.
Exactly. It's you can imagine people like spending, like kids nowadays. I could imagine someone thinking, "I want to be in esports," and they spend the entire time playing.
It does have its dangers.
I think there'll be people who will be able to do that and they'll be able to make a success, but it's going to be a hard decision with parents who, especially I think, like parents who are going to be parents in the next few years.
Especially if you've got parents who are not, like we said with YouTubers being classed as celebrities. It's not the norm.
I think it's also going to be difficult for people who, it's difficult either way, but it's difficult for people who also know the industry, because it's like, are they going to be, like, you don't want to put someone down, but it's like, if they're going to put a year of their life, 2 years to focus on gaming, what happens if it doesn't happen? Like, because this is, like I say, it's accessible by anyone.
It's a very cutthroat industry as
ultra competitive. But I think there's a lot of money getting poured into it. In 2018, I couldn't find 2019 rates, but $160 million worth of prize fund was available. And that was 2 years ago now, well, a year and a bit ago now. More have gone in last year and more will go in this year.
Yeah.
And even at the Game Awards a few weeks ago, there was sections for best esports player, best esports team. So I think it's getting a lot more attention, a lot more money's getting put into it, and I think
it'll only rise.
I think eventually some form of league will develop. There's obviously already leagues, like professional leagues, but I think it may develop to the same sort of things as like football. There'll be a starter league. There'll be various ways to get up to the Premier League, as it were.
I could easily see that happening. It's leagues based on skill level with team based. Promotion, relegation, that kind of thing. Yeah,
I could see that very easily happening, and I think it'll eventually. I could easily see it being one of the big sports combating nationals, like traditional sports.
Yeah, it's. I suppose, especially with as more money gets pumped into it, I can see that happening. I don't know how quick that it'll happen, but as long as people throw more money into it, I can see it happening. Yeah.
So yeah, is there anything else you want to say on that, or?
No, I think that's it for that.
Lovely. So that's everything for today. Follow us on social at Twitter, _, What's On Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the What's On Podcast. And thank you very much for listening.